It was January 27th, 1945, and two P-47 Thunderbolts were soaring through the Italian mountains. Inside the rear P-47 sat 18-year-old Rayundo Dosta Canario from the First Brazilian Fighter Squadron. He maintained formation with his leader, Lieutenant Luiz Lopes Dornel. The men were on a free hunting mission, and as they roared around a cliff, they spotted a column of German vehicles. Dornel got on the radio. "You see that, Canario? It's tigers." The German column was made up of several vehicles, but Dornel was right. In the midst of the column were the unmistakable hulking forms of two tiger tanks. "I'm diving in." Canario was the first to pull his P-47 around, then line up the column in his sights. "Canario, watch out for anti-aircraft fire." But the thrill of battle filled the young pilot, and picking up speed, he set his crosshairs on the enemy formation. "Alarm! Attack planes!" The column rushed for cover as the Germans turned all their defensive firepower towards the Brazilians. The roar of the 18-cylinder P-47 engines filled the air, and the Germans lifted their machine guns to meet the threat head-on. Bullets flew towards the P-47. The Thunderbolt was hit with German lead, and the bullets made a noise like gravel on a windshield. Canario showed nerve beyond his years, calmly pushing a button on top of the stick, and a barrage of rockets launched at the armored targets below. Canario then squeezed the trigger in response. 850 rounds per minute rang out at maximum speed. He strafed along the entire length of the column. Trucks were hit, bursting into flames as he started to level off. He was now low and over the target. He punched the bomb release with his left hand, and two 500-pound bombs released from his wings in quick succession, piling into the massive German tanks. Canario was already flying up and away when he saw green streaks passing by his canopy. On the ground, a German 20mm anti-aircraft cannon tried to chase the fast-disappearing P-47. Canario pulled up and veered left, dodging the incoming barrage, and tried to race for cover behind the cliff. "I got you, kid." It was Dornel racing in. He had the cannon in his sights while it was pointing at Canario. Dornel strafed the cannon, and the Germans jumped for cover. Just as he passed over, he pulled the bomb release and pulled up from the explosion and inferno. "Thank you, Louise."
I almost lost my feathers. Coming around again over the smoking wrecks of the two tigers, the men spotted something else. Further down the road was the unmistakable form of a third tiger. "Cover me, I'm on it, right behind you." Dornel took a low angle, level with the road, with rockets at the ready. The tiger got closer, and he opened fire. Rocket after rocket launched from his wings, streaking towards their target. "Come on, come on!" His heart sank as he saw several miss, but then the bloom of an explosion as one struck the enemy on the suspension. The 56-ton machine was not going anywhere. "Canary, he's all yours." Canary dived down to finish the job and fired off his last 4 rockets, reducing another piece of German engineering to rubble. 3 tigers down in one day! We should have called you an eagle. But Dornel got on the radio with another target, a vehicle at 4 o'clock, leaving quickly. Below him, a half-track with a tarp covering its bed had driven onto the road and was speeding away. Under that tarp could be another anti-air weapon. If the Germans got it running, the fight could turn rapidly against them. "Follow me." Dornel turned his P-47 into a dive. Canary followed hot on his heels. The two Thunderbolts bore down upon the speeding half-track. Dornel opened fire first. The bullets rang out and flew over the top of the half-track, cutting into the trees along the roadside. The German driver weaved and pulled for cover. Dornel had to pull up to prepare for another pass. Canary, though, had his eyes locked on the enemy. He pulled the trigger. The Thunderbolt shook beneath him with the firing of the quad machine guns on each wing. The German only saw flickers of flame on the Brazilian aircraft before the string of bullet strikes appeared before his eyes, headed right towards him. There was nothing he could do. The bullets tore through the half-track, round after round, punching through the thin steel, until one of them found the ammunition. The half-track exploded in an abrupt and violent ball of black smoke. Canary roared past. He was racing away victorious. But the moment he looked away from the target, he realized he had made a terrible mistake. A factory with a towering chimney filled his vision. He pulled back on the stick hard, but it was no use. He felt the blood-curdling impact, followed by a violent roll to the right. He instinctively shoved the stick to the left, and his plane limped away. He had caught the roll.
Better yet, his trusty P-47 was ever so slowly rolling back to level. He held the stick on full left and tentatively applied the left rudder. The plane responded. He was shocked. How could it still be flying? He looked out the window to see a third of his right wing almost completely sheared off. I regained control. I struck a chimney. Dornell flew up alongside him, his eyes wide at the sheer scale of the damage. Can you fly at home? Canario examined his instruments. The fuel was not leaking, the engine looked healthy, and everything appeared to work. I think so. But Dornell couldn't hear him. Dosta, do you copy? Can you fly at home? Something had gone wrong. Canario could hear his leader, but his leader couldn't hear him back. Can you hear me? Copy that. We're flying through the Adriatic. The planes headed home together. All the while, Canario was focused on keeping control. Then a transmission came in. Aircraft up ahead. Damn it, what are we going to do? It was the last thing they wanted to see. Two unidentified fighters in the distance coming right towards them. Keep your heading, I'll deal with them. Dornell sped up, leaving Canario behind, and the two unidentified aircraft turned gracefully and dived towards them. Dornell pulled up, ready to meet the challenge head-on, but then he realized these weren't enemies. These were Spitfires. Dornell immediately broke off the attack and showed the side of his aircraft to prove he was friendly, but it was too late, and the Spitfires powered past with Canario in their sights. The two Spitfires roared towards Canario as he tried desperately to maneuver. There was nothing he could do. Tracers poured out of the Spitfire's wings. Canario's tail was torn to shreds, and the aircraft started to roll over. The unknown fighters roared by Canario, and he got to see them up close. They were British. The two Spitfires came around for another attack. No, I'm a friendly. They pulled up next to the Thunderbolt. Oh, bloody hell, it's a P-47. Sorry, old chap. The Spitfires waggled their wings in apology and turned away. Damn it, those Brits almost sent me to hell. The two pilots flew home and spotted their airbase, and Canario went in for an approach. He dropped the landing gear and, with great skill and precise control, side-slipped the aircraft towards the runway. But then a message came through. It was the control tower. Abort, abort.
Canario was told by the tower that the runway was needed for an emergency landing, and the Thunderbolt had to enter a holding pattern. Damn it, can't they see? I've only got one wing. He was forced into several unstable turns over the base, but it was finally clear to land. He hit the ground hard with heavy force, but the landing gear held strong. Slamming on the brakes, his plane rolled and shook down the runway. Finally, in a cloud of dust, the P-47, or what was left of it, came to a halt. Rayundo Dosta Canario survived the war and returned home to Brazil. Incredibly, his aircraft was repaired and served for 50 more missions before the end of the war. My plane wasn't the only one to land with heavy damage. Watch this film where a B-17 was escorted out of German airspace by a German pilot who spared its crippled crew rather than shooting it down. I bet he wasn't forced to go around again.